Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Lucas Live. Thank you guys for being here. If you're here live with us, we want to welcome you into the room. If you're watching this by replay, welcome to the replay. You came for a great episode today. If you're watching this on YouTube, Periscope, LinkedIn, Facebook, wherever you come from, we thank you for being here. If someone shared this with you or shared this on their page and you thought, well, let me see what they're talking about, it seems like it might be an interesting topic, we thank you and we welcome you here today. This is going to be really good. We're going to be talking about divorce in the Christian church. Divorce in the church, divorce period. I mean, what are the stigmas behind it? What should they be? What are they? What do we do about it? For those that have been divorced and are struggling with feelings of guilt and shame, should you be? Maybe you should. Maybe you shouldn't. We're going to talk about that today. For those that are going through a divorce or are separated right now and trying to figure out which way to go, we're going to have some discussion about that today. To those who are happily married or still single and they have never really imagined, but they know what the Bible says or knows what their pastor says or what the church has always said or what grandma and them always said, whatever the case may be. We want to talk about it today. This is an open dialogue. This is a conversation. I have someone here today who can shine light on it, who has 20 years experience as a divorce attorney. So she's going to be able to shine some light on this topic today. She also has her own personal experience, which she will share with us, as well as being the child of divorced parents. And we're going to talk about that today. What are those implications, ladies and gentlemen? Is it as simple as just what the parents want? Is that how it should go? Should the parents get to make the decision and the kids are just left blowing in the wind looking for mom or dad? What is right? We don't know. And when we look at culture, especially in this country, in the United States, it's hard to tell what's right and wrong anymore, right? What was right or wrong or seen as right or wrong 50, 60 years ago is no longer seen that way anymore. So does society set the tone? Does the Bible set the tone? Does the problem, does the problem justify what we do? These are real questions. These are real conversations that we need to have. So we welcome you guys. We invite you guys into this conversation today. For those who are joining us, we welcome you. We're so glad to have you here. Please share this broadcast. Please hit hearts and likes and laughs and get tears if that's what hit you. Engage in this broadcast. Unlike other shows that you watch on TV, you can't engage with those shows on TV, but you can engage with Lucas Live. You make this show live because you're a part of the live audience. So we appreciate that so much. And even if you're watching by replay, don't be afraid to throw a comment in there on the replay. We'll see it. We may get back to you. It may be featured on another episode. We want to let you guys know. So thank you guys so much for doing that. And we look forward to having more discussions around important topics like this. Divorce in the Christian church. What is the deal with that? Is it okay? Is it not okay? Are you going to hell? I mean, what's going to happen if you get a divorce and you call yourself a Christian? What is the deal, ladies and gentlemen? Please, 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 as you also enter the room, as you guys join the broadcast, if you have any questions, please feel free and get ready to share with us your questions today. We'd love to answer some questions and share your opinions and thoughts. This is not a conversation today that we're going to have and we're going to say, we gave you the definitive playbook and we told you, thus saith the Lord on every answer. And this is what God is saying to you. There are some extenuating circumstances that we're going to talk about today. And we're going to try to come to some understanding of what we believe the Bible says and some understanding from someone who has been in the field and worked with so many people going through divorce and heard so many stories and saw so many things. We're going to hear what she has to say today as well. So we're really excited about that today. We also want to thank you guys and invite you guys into the Inner Circle. If you have not yet joined the Lucas Live Inner Circle, please, please, please make sure you join the Inner Circle. There's going to be some great information coming out soon, maybe even tonight, hint, hint, about some upcoming events with the Inner Circle that will come to the Inner Circle first. You guys are always going to be in the know a little faster than everybody else. So join the Inner Circle by texting Lucas Live, all one word, to 31996. So text Lucas Live, go to your text, the number it's asking for, you type in 31996 and you type in Lucas Live. So please, please, please do that. Join the Inner Circle. We're going to be doing some giveaways as well for the Inner Circle. So I'm really excited about that. We have a sponsor for an upcoming show that has donated some Amazon gift cards, and I think you might want to win it. We also have a gift from Avon that I have sitting here that I'm going to be giving away, and there's going to be more great prizes, and those things are going to come to the Inner Circle. So you want to be a part of the Inner Circle. to be able to get a part of the prizes. We want to hook you up with something great. It's like a radio show. You want to be the ninth caller? Well, you want to be in the inner circle. So get to the inner circle by texting Lucas Live to 31996. I want to thank some of you who are here who have made comments in the comment section. Tyler Thatcher, my friend, thank you so much for being here. So glad to have you. Your episode where you and my friend Charles Boone were on, we talked about mentors and father figures. That episode is getting so many views on YouTube still. It is incredible. People are looking for information on that. So that was a great topic, and it's just growing and blowing up on YouTube. It's super cool. Shout out to Angela Hardesty. Thank you so much for always being here. Thank you for sharing your story in the comments earlier in a post I made on Facebook. That was awesome. JJ Lilly, always glad to have you. Again, thank you for your comments. Excellent, insightful information. I believe you said that your parents, you were in foster care, and then you were with a family, and then that family that you were living with or being adopted into, they got a divorce. Now, what do you do in that situation? That was tough. And that was a very, very interesting insight that you shared with us. So thank you so much. Tice, my man, what's going on? So glad to have you here. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support, my friend. I really appreciate it, man. I'm having a lot of fun. Just trying to bring great content to people. That's all it's about. Trying to bring something great to everybody. Christina Sanders, my cousin, thank you so much for being here. So glad to have you. Thank you for all your love and all your support with Lucas Live in the background. We appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Sharice Grantham, you need that Amazon card, all right, to support your Amazon habit. Anybody else having Amazon issues right now? Anybody else out doing extra shopping on the Amazon? Got your quarantine shopping going on, or is that just me? Anybody else got an Amazon delivery every other day or what? I mean, it's a problem, right? I don't know. I mean, you can't go to the stores like we once did, and we're somehow finding ourselves shopping on Amazon like it never before. I don't know what's going on. Amazon is doing great. They are very happy with everything going on. If anybody else is having Amazon issues, let me know in the comments so I know I'm not alone. I appreciate that. Damon Thomas, thank you so much for being here. You are looped in. Thank you so much here on LinkedIn, on Lucas Live, aka Looped In tonight. Thank you so much for being here. Excited to have you. Thank you for joining on multiple platforms. All right. We're so glad. We're so glad to have everybody who's here. Thank you guys so much. And we're going to take care of those Amazon issues because we're going to be giving away gift cards real soon to Amazon to help support that habit. And we have some other sponsors coming along with some other great stuff, some other great things. So you want to make sure that you are a part of the inner circle so you guys can partake in that great stuff. All right. So I don't want to take up any more time. I want us to get to our great guest today. She goes by the name of Christian Family. Her name is Christian Family. Her name. Did you hear me, ladies and gentlemen? Her name is Christian Family. So she's going to explain that to us here in just a second. Her first name is Christian, last name Family. She's going to break that down for us in just a second. And she's going to tell us about her journey as a divorce attorney representing men and women and what that was like, as well as her own personal story. And you all are going to help us with the conversation about what's the deal with divorce in the Christian church. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome to the show my guest, Miss Christian Family. Welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks so much for having me.
Glad to have you here today, Christian Family. Ladies and gentlemen, now, Christian, you got to start the show by telling us about your name. I mean, it's hard to tell people, like her name is Christian Family. And they're like, Christian Family what? Like, did they name her Christian Family? And you told me this story when we first met. First of all, your whole story was fascinating. So I hope we get to share it with the audience today. And what you did that your name is now Christian Family. Why don't you start by telling us that story?
All right. Hey, I'll start with telling you that story. So the backstory is that just recently I closed my law firm, but I've been the owner of a law firm for like the last 15 years. So back in May of 2018, I went to a workshop about open a second law firm. Mm-hmm. And while I was there, right before I got there, I had to let go of my associate because, she wasn't pulling her weight, right? So I let go of the associate. Mm-hmm. While I'm at the workshop, the paralegal quit. So now I'm left with just me and one other employee. Okay. And so I'm at this workshop, right, to open a second law firm. And the guy who's running it goes, you can't open a second law firm because your first one's not working. You might want to burn that to the ground, and start over. Okay. Your second law firm.
That's always nice to hear, right? That always feels good. Yeah. Just burn your business to the ground. Is that, it's failing. Okay.
Right. Start over.
Yeah. Start over. It's nothing. Right.
And he's like, and And aren't you like Christian divorce law or Christian family law? What's with this Manning Law Company? Like, what is that about?
Mm-hmm.
I says, well, I'm in the state of Ohio. And Ohio does not allow a law firm to have a trade name. So, like, I couldn't be the law firm of Columbus, right? The only way, I say to him, that I could be Christian family law is if my name was Christian family.
Wow.
So at the time, it was kind of a joke, a little tongue in cheek, you know what I mean? Like Christian family.
Mm-hmm.
But then I thought, why not, right? Like, is this not the ultimate branding move?
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? And so I went with it, right? Like full steam ahead. But there's always a part of the story that you don't know.
Okay.
So
do tell.
God, what I didn't know. And so just a little bit of rewind on that even. Mm-hmm. Before May, I had signed up for an emotional intelligence leadership training. So it was a workshop that was scheduled for August 3rd, 4th, and 5th of 2018. Mm-hmm. Was excited about it because August the 5th was my birthday. Okay. And I was going to find out what are my blind spots, right? Like how come even though the business is growing, it's not growing like I should? You know what I mean? Like clearly I'm the problem. What are my limiting beliefs, right? Okay. So this is the sign up for that. On August the 1st, oh, wait, my name change hearing was scheduled for August the 2nd, right? Mm-hmm. On August the 1st, the husband and I got into our then worst fight.
Wait. The husband.
The husband. Right? He was my husband.
Okay, good. We had to go to Urban Dictionary real quick. I need you to clear that up. Okay. The husband was your husband. The husband. Okay, so go back to the husband. You and the husband, what happened?
The husband. Got into our worst fight ever. Okay. Got really physical. He blacked my eye. Mm. So now August the 2nd, I went into my name change hearing with a black eye. Wow. I went into the emotional leadership training with the black eye. Mm-hmm. The entire time I'm there, there's a sign on the wall that says, what are you pretending not to know?
Wow.
Well, I'm pretending not to know that I'm in an abusive marriage, that I'm actually an abused woman, that my message is that Christian women don't have to stay in these kind of marriages. And here I am, a Christian woman, feeling trapped in this kind of marriage. Of course, my business couldn't grow.
Wow. That's powerful.
Right?
What a realization to realize that your business wasn't growing because you weren't living the truth that you were telling other people. So that's a whole lesson in itself and something that somebody out there needs to hear, that they say fake it till you make it. But sometimes all that faking doesn't get us where we think we're going to go, because if we're not genuine and we're not true, things don't tend to work out for us. So tell us a little bit about that. So tell us about your thoughts about Christian divorce. Let's get into it. Okay. So, and I want to rewind back to that story. So again, say that one more time. People are saying wow in the comments, and they're listening. They're into this. Okay. So you're you have a black eye. You and your husband had just gotten into a physical fight. You're at an emotional intelligence conference, something empowering. And the sign on the wall again said, what?
What are you pretending not to know?
What are you pretending not to know? Ladies and gentlemen, write that down. What are you pretending not to know about your life right now? Somebody's listening to this right now, and it's not it may or may not be about your marriage. It may be about your business. It may be about how you're parenting. It may be about some other about your health. There may be something that you're pretending not to know that you have to own. Here's something that people may be pretending not to know. Pretending not to know that the gym's being closed is a problem. I can't keep pretending like that's not a problem, and being at home all day and these quarantine snacks that everybody's eating, that I'm eating, that so many other people, we're pretending like this is normal. We got to do something to take control. So what are you pretending not to know, ladies and gentlemen? Feel free to tell us in the comments. What are you pretending not to know? Or if you don't want to tell us, it's okay. It could be a secret between you and you, as long as you admit it and do something about it. So you had that realization, and then what?
And then what, right? That is always the magic question. Then what? Right? So it's like now I'm armed with this information, right? I'm stepping into my new person, right? With the name change. I got a new community of people. This is the next level emotional intelligence leadership training here in Columbus. I got this new community of people. I wanted to stay on a journey with them, right? So it's really a 3-step journey. So the first part, they call it discovery. I discovered what my problem was. Okay. The second part of the training is called breakthrough. And that's where you get the tools you need to break through what would be your limiting beliefs. So now, the second part of the training was like 2 or 3 weeks after the first part of the training. So I came back home after realizing that I was an abused woman, but I didn't really have a plan to get out of it. I didn't have a plan, right? I'm in this marriage. I've been in it all this time. I've got 3 small children.
You didn't have a plan? Wait a minute. You're the divorce attorney. We're the ones without the plan. We don't have an attorney. We can't afford it. We don't know what the court system's going to do. We don't know what's going to happen to the house and the finances and the kids. And they're going to take my kids away from me, the woman says, and the man says, and everybody says. You're a divorce attorney. And in that moment, even you felt that realization that you didn't have a plan.
Oh, my God. Listen, yes,
Wow.
It's exactly that. Part of the reason I transitioned from the practice of law, and literally have retired from the practice of law and to transition into being more of a divorce mentor, the divorce answer, is precisely because of that. People are concerned about the financial part and the legal part, but I promise you, in relation to a divorce, that's maybe 20%.
Wow.
So much more. There's all the emotions, the fear, the shame, the guilt, the confusion.
Yes.
Right? It's the conflicting feelings.
Absolutely.
I've been divorced once before. So now I'm going to be divorced twice. I don't want that. I don't want to be a single mother of 3. Come on. There's going to be a financial implication here. Even though I'm the primary breadwinner, I mean, he did do something.
Right.
And he did a lot of stuff with the kids. He got them ready for school. He made the dinners. I was going to miss these things. I'm in this big house. I don't know how to fix anything.
Wow.
I'm a woman of God. I am a Christian woman. When we got together, kind of missionary dating, I guess the people call that. But, he got baptized and did some things, with me. And
wow.
I felt like I had this amazing story, that you hear sometimes the mothers of the church tell, where, for those first 10 years, he wasn't no good. He was drinking and in them streets. And, he had a woman and he fought me. But I just held on
to God's hand and it brought me through. Lord knows. I don't know. We all right now. We don't really like each other, but we still sleep in the same house, different rooms, same house.
Right? And part of me wanted that story.
Yeah.
I wanted that story to be able to tell people that, no, you can overcome odds. Yeah, sure. When we got together, I'm really educated, and he wasn't, thank goodness he's an electrician and everything, but not like a professional guy. It wasn't that kind of thing. So there was a difference there. Right. He wasn't originally saved, but he had been a heavy drinker. And so the morals of the story is I wanted that to be my testimony, to tell women, you can do this, you can.
Ooh, hold on. Wait, ladies and gentlemen, we gotta pause for that for a second. So, and not to say the man didn't bring things to the table. You gave him, credit for the things that he did come to the table with. But a part of it was the extreme home makeover, the fixer-upper, I want my testimony to be that I persevered with someone who was a heavy drinker and did have these issues. And I knew they had these issues, but God was going to work it all out for me. And you're in the church, so all the more reason to believe. What's wrong with your faith? Don't you believe God can fix it? And yet that didn't turn out that way. Is that right? That's
right. Wow. And let me tell you things that are true. There's 3 things that are true here. One, about my particular situation. I absolutely believe that God can fix it.
Yes.
Because when God comes and knocks on your heart, okay, because he's a gentleman, you always have an opportunity to answer the door and let him in and go the right way.
Yes.
You also have the opportunity to ignore his voice.
Amen.
And to not do the right thing. So it's not that God couldn't fix it. It takes 2 people to be married.
Yes.
And he was making a decision to not heed the word of God and stop drinking and be in this marriage 100%. And in his defense, if there's any defense to be had there, I'm not sure if he really 100% had the capacity
to make the
to
changes.
Be the husband and the man that I needed him to be to do that. Right. I don't know for sure that he even could.
That is very, very powerful. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to stay tuned. If you're here for this conversation, don't leave because we have more to talk about. We got to get into this a little bit deeper because Christian is opening up some of her personal story, bottom line. And we want you guys to hear this story, and we want to hear from you guys as well. We have to think about this. She was in the church. Her stance, as we're talking about it right now, she's not saying run out and get a divorce. So you better not turn off this broadcast and somebody run off and say, yes, I was on Lucas Live and they said divorces are the best thing to do when the going gets tough. You just get going. That's what you do. You got to get out. That's not what we're saying here. but there are some circumstances that we do need to dig into and we do need to talk about and we do need to think about. And Christian, I'd love to hear from you a little bit more, and we'll get back to your story. Can you share with us a little bit about what you felt your purpose was, even in practicing law? One, why did you get into it? And then once you got into it, what was your hope in being a divorce attorney? It's such a sad thing. I mean, there's no real wins, right? I mean, it's not like I don't know. Are there any wins in that? What's that world like?
There are some wins. So let's say I found law, or really law found me. It was also kind of a fluke because that's just how my life works out. Short story, I really wanted to be a math teacher. When I realized
small detour, ladies and gentlemen, small
math,
detour.
Right? I ended up with a degree in English. I definitely didn't want to be an English teacher. I didn't know what to do. So I was going to go to get a master's in social work because I figure I like to help people. That's what I care about. My mother kind of laughed at me because at the time she was in the master's PhD program. And she was like, maybe a master's in social work and an MBA, maybe a master's in social work, you get a PhD. You're going to need something else with that. Right? Okay. And so they had a dual degree. Listen, there's a half-naked 2-year-old here right now.
Hey, we like children on Lucas Live. Oh, hi, buddy. What's his name? Wait,
right. This is Zeke.
Hey, Zeke. Zeke, welcome to the show. Our first kid on Lucas Live. We want to welcome you. We want to welcome him to the show. That's a crisp lineup. He must have made it to the first opening at the barbershop, or he got a barber in the house.
Yeah, look, his daddy had him this weekend.
Oh, he hooked him up.
Listen, the man has some talent.
Okay, I see.
Voice hair is one of them.
Okay, all right. Shout out to little Zeke. Thank you for being on the show, little buddy. We appreciate it.
That's a mess. Okay, so what happens is she says,
there's another little person right behind you. Popping up. I don't know if you noticed that.
So embarrassing.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have some little people joining us on the show. If you're listening to this as a podcast later someday and you can't see the video, there are 2 little children, half naked, mind you. I mean, they have a little bit of clothes on and they're entering into the broadcast. We're happy to have them. Looks like one of them is in charge of the other one. Neither one of them looks much older than 7, but whatever. It's all good. It's all good. I mean, whatever. It's all good.
Oh my God, he lured him away with dessert. I think there's Jello and.
Hey, whatever. Oh
works. My God. Okay, so
they're welcome to come back.
My mom get 2 degrees, and so I was. Case had a dual degree program, like law school and social work.
Yes.
Incidentally, I applied to law school and was accepted before I ever even had to apply to social work school. So I was like, guess I'll be a lawyer, right? And so. So I'm a lawyer now. And while I was in law school, I got hooked up with a gig at the Legal Aid Society of Cleveland in the family law division, helping victims of abuse get divorces and orders of protection from their abusers. Okay. I worked for a woman, Alexandria Rudin, she's famous to me because she's the woman who kind of wrote the law in the state of Ohio.
Tell us about, she wrote the law for abused women?
About domestic, for the civil protection orders.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome.
In that particular. So this was pretty awesome. And so I found my place, you know what I mean, when I was there. I was like, oh, here's the social work part of the law. Because the legal part of divorce really isn't super complicated, right? What do y'all have? No, I'm not really, right?
Half a couch? Do you really split that like that or what? What do you have?
I mean, it really is. It's real kind of straightforward, right? Like what makes it an issue is people's feelings.
Oh, okay.
Right? Otherwise, it's really just a numbers game.
That's deep. That's deep.
We're going to divide it up. Real talk. Right? Everything. So I had found the social work part of the law. So, anyway, so that's kind of the thing with it. And I found that it really was a place to help women and men too, but find their power back, to really get their power back. To this date, I am yet to meet anyone. And I know hundreds of divorce stories where the person really wanted a divorce. Never met a person that wanted a divorce.
Wow.
People need them sometimes. They have to have them.
Wow. 20 years and you never met one person, male or female, all of these clients, all of these years, who said, I'm super excited about this. I want a divorce. This sounds like fun.
Exactly.
Wow.
Divorce is something that happens. Divorce is a result. It's a result.
Wow.
Right? It's a result. I tell people, and this is especially important for people to understand at the Christian faith, that divorce is a result of hardened hearts. Okay? Now, God makes you one when he marries you. Your hearts, he knits them together as one. He sees you as one.
Yes.
But that requires 2 hearts that are doing that. If one person's heart gets hard, The oneness has already been broken.
Wow.
You're divorced at that moment. Now, people's hearts go hard for a lot of different reasons. And this I can tell you. I've been listening, right, to these stories. And
Sure.
sometimes a person's heart goes hard because they're looking outside the marriage for something they should be looking for inside the marriage.
Okay. Good
Right?
stuff.
Sometimes that person did it and they repented, but the other spouse is unforgiving.
Right.
Your heart can become hard just from unforgiveness.
Right.
You know?
Yep.
Most hearts become hard due to some kind of built up resentment.
Yes.
It's just something that was left unsaid, and it builds and it builds until it's like a callus.
Wow.
That builds on the heart. I believe my heart became hard because it was protecting itself from abuse. It had to grow that shell on itself, because otherwise I'd still be in that marriage because I did not
want to get a divorce just like everybody else. I love it. I love it. I love it. Thank you guys. Keep giving us hearts. Keep giving love. Keep sharing this broadcast. Tell somebody, tag somebody, say, whoever you are, get over here. You need to be watching this. You need to hear this. This is such good information. I love the discussion of hardened hearts. I think so often I am 100% with you. It takes two people gelling together. And what happens is sometimes, and then sadly, sometimes people come into relationships hard. They come in tough. They come in hurt. And so I'm going to build walls and be tough, and I'm not going to be hurt again. And they never allow themselves to gel. They may get married. They may put on rings. They may stand in front of a pastor, a minister, a judge, their family and friends, and God himself and say, I do. But they've never softened up from the pain of the previous relationships and the pain. And that's why I caution people. And not just women, but I my heart goes out to women because I often see women in such bad situations. And you got to be careful missing out on Mr. Right because you're messing around with Mr. Right now. You know, you're messing around with Mr. Convenient right now, Mr. Quarantine. He ain't got nothing else to do. He ain't got nowhere else to go. So he on the couch. You feel safe with him around. The dog kind of like him. The kids like him if he don't drink the juice box. You know, like he's cool, but he's in the way. And then he's causing you pain and creating that callus that you talked about. And then when you meet a great guy, you're already so calloused that you try to soften up and be in this relationship and be healthy, but you have such unhealthy habits that you created and you learned. Those were learned behaviors from negative relationships in the past that God never intended for you to be in the first place. And now you're in a marriage and now you're in a divorce. Help me understand, if have you ever seen anything like that? Do you believe that that's something that happens?
Oh, no, it's exactly what you say. Because, right, the oneness in itself was never created.
Wow.
People say all the time, what God has put together, no man should tear asunder.
Yes.
Well, maybe God didn't put it together. Maybe it's not that you shouldn't be getting a divorce. Maybe you
should
should have got married.
Man.
People have
Throw
it upside
something
down.
Whew.
Right? And let's really clear it up.
Yes.
Okay? You're not going to make God bless something. Okay? If the marriage wasn't right, if you weren't supposed to be with this person, so now you're going to marry them and you're going to make God bless it.
Wow.
I'm married now, God. Right?
Right. I was married now, God. You're going to have to bless it. Now I got what I wanted. Now bless it, Lord. And close your eyes, Lord. Bless it.
Right? You can't manipulate God like that.
Yes.
That's not how God works.
Yes.
And on top of that, God's not a jerk. And that's the most important message. Look, write that down.
Wow.
Okay? There is in no set of facts, no God that I know, where if I got into the marriage full-hearted and I believed that I had a diamond and come to find out I really got a piece of glass, that God is going to make me into some kind of bad person, quit loving me, because I don't want to keep treating that piece of glass like it's a diamond.
Wow. You chose to see glass as a diamond, and now you think God is going to be mad at you. That is so important. I think that's something that I think about all the time. Is one, the thought that, and my wife and I do coaching, and I do coaching with singles and couples and things. Wrote a couple great books. I got a new one we about to let everybody know about real soon for singles and for couples. But I think so often the problem isn't that the marriage was or the person is so bad. It's that we weren't ready to get married. We weren't ready for a marriage. We were ready for a wedding. We prepared for a wedding. We invested in a wedding. The average cost of a wedding is like $20,000 or something. I think it's like $23,000 or something insane that people are spending on weddings. And they're spending like 2 minutes in counseling, maybe. And if the counselor starts saying it's going to cost a little bit more, they're like, we don't have money for all that. Let's just read a book or let's just pray about it. And they're not investing in that. What are your thoughts on investing in a marriage more than investing in a wedding? Because here's what I think is going to happen. You're either going to invest in a marriage, invest in a wedding, or you're going to end up investing in a divorce. So to me, I'd rather invest in a marriage instead of worrying about the wedding, because pretty soon I'm going to be taking that same money and investing in a divorce. What do you think about that?
Oh my God, listen, I stand behind that. Some of the best things that a couple can do for themselves, in addition to premarital counseling,
Yes,
is to have a couple mentor.
Yes.
Right? Like, you need a
Yes.
mentor, like a marriage coach.
Yes.
And not when times get hard, the whole time.
Yes.
Right? You always do. Because there's so much stuff you just don't know. The only thing we know about marriage, most of us, is what we see on TV or what we saw from our parents.
Yes.
And well,
and that wasn't always perfectly fun. Right.
You know what I mean? Your parents' marriage, well, I don't know. You know
right.
what I'm saying? But I don't really want to repeat the thing my parents did, but you know what I did, right?
You did.
I repeated.
You repeated
right?
the cycle, yes.
That's what people do.
Yes.
Right. But so that's right. That's the thing there. But no, you need to invest in that.
Yes.
You need to join, like, basic information I tell people. You got to join your finances together.
Okay, whoa. Hold on. Before we go there, because that is an interesting topic I'd like us to talk about a little bit, because I'm going to be doing a special show, a Lucas Live After Dark, where we are going to be talking about what happens when the woman makes more than the man. Is that okay? Is that okay for the woman? Is that okay for the man? Is that okay to society? Can you go tell your family that? Can the woman go tell her mom and her dad, yes, I got this great man, and what does he do? He works at the library and he puts the books away real neat, and he makes, $13 an hour, but he loves books. And you're making $100,000. Are they going to be cool with that? Are you going to be okay with that? Is he going to be okay with that? So we're going to talk about that. But so I want to hear some of your thoughts on putting the finances together. But first, I want to thank some more people who have joined the show. I just want to thank you guys who are here. Pastor Hubert Carpenter, I see you. My wife, Corinne Marie, thank you so much. Courtney Renee, thank you so much for being here. Janine Britt, our good friend, so glad to have you. Ann Hagen, thank you so much. And thank you for your comment about marriage. She said that you have to realize in your marriage that you're role models. Shout out to her and her husband, Nate. They are great role models. They still date, and they've been married, I'm going to say 20 years. I don't know, 30 years. I don't know. But they still date, and that's such a great example. Tyler Thatcher, he did ask that we pray for Tuan Green and Tim Longshore. Shout out to them. Prayers up for them. There's some local guys around here, both battling different things in the hospital right now. Everybody in the Canton area, I know we're talking about it. Anybody watching this anywhere now or in the future, send a prayer up for them. They are both battling some serious things going on medically right now. So we're praying for them. Latasha Ellis, if I didn't shout you out, thank you again for being here. Angela Hardesty, Sharice, Ashanti, thank you. Thank you, Karen. I can't get to everybody. Ebony Woods, I just want to thank you guys so much for being an active part of the audience here today. And thank you for your comments. I see your comments. I'm sorry I'm not pulling them all up or getting to all of them, but keep making the comments, because your comments will be popping up as somebody else is watching this replay. Your comments may be something that triggers something for somebody else, and it matters to somebody. So please keep making comments. Please keep engaging. Please keep giving hearts. Please keep giving likes. Please keep sharing this broadcast. So Christian, you started to talk a little bit. So I want to hear, one, you have to tell us about your parents. Ladies and gentlemen, when you hear the story about her parents, you're going to be blown away. It's like something you've seen on TV, literally. Wait till she tells the story about her parents. And also talk to us a little bit about, you said you have to blend finances. Hold up. Wait a minute. Everybody doesn't believe in that. Help us understand. What are you talking about? Why do people have to blend finances?
So, right, I say that one to rile the people up. But in addition to becoming one spiritually, you become one in a lot of other areas. Yes. Now, people think about you become one physically, right?
Yes.
You move into a house together. So not combining your finances is like getting married and not moving in together. It's like getting married and not having sex.
Wow.
It's like getting married,
yes.
right? And not having friends in common, right? You join your finances. Now that doesn't mean that people don't work their finances the way they do. People have their separate accounts, like you run your house like you run your house, but there needs to be a common goal, a common vision, a common plan for what's happening with the money. There needs to be transparency.
Yes,
because that's right now there's lies and dishonesty, and dishonesty is the kind of break in the foundation of any relationship. It's gonna crack. Yes.
Blending finances, I think it is something that it's crazy. It's kind of sad that people don't do it. I think that people struggle with it at times, but oftentimes when people struggle with it, it's because they're struggling with just basic trust. And somebody said in the comments, Ashanti said in the comments, they're struggling with trust. And if you have trust with your treasure, how are you going to trust them with your life? How are you going to trust them with your in the same house? How are you going to trust them to have children together or blend families and raise children together? And I don't trust you with my money? Like, that is crazy. Like, that is a very difficult thing. Now, here's a question. So, Miss Christian, family divorce attorney, from this perspective, what if I don't want to blend my finances because I don't want her to take half of my stuff when we get a divorce? So if I keep my money separate, then, you know, if it all goes down, then it's like, well, I wasn't really, I mean, she paid her bills, I paid mine, she paid the electric, I paid the gas, you know, everything was separate anyway, really. So I don't need to give her any money because we already were, you know, it really wasn't set up like that. Does that work in court? How does that work?
Well, look, it depends, because that's the answer to every legal question. But conceptually, anything that accumulates during a marriage is marital, especially in the state of Ohio. This is a place like that. Some different states have slightly different rules. But here, anything that is acquired during the marriage is marital, no matter whose name it's in. You know, so like I bought this house. If I bought it during the marriage with my husband, whoever's name is on the title, he owns half.
So even if his name is not on the title, you bought a car, name not on the title. You buy a house, their name's not on the title. The judge doesn't care. That's marital property, correct?
Right.
Yes.
It's marital.
Yep. Very good.
And then the question becomes, right, and then how are we going to divide it up? Because I'm telling you, divorce is simply, what do we have?
Assets and liabilities. That's all it comes down to. Assets,
and don't forget, and some people go, well, we ain't got nothing. You got kids? A kid's an asset and a liability. Right? I have three.
I'm about to say.
How are we going to divide it up?
Liabilities, right? They cost a lot, right? We got to divide it up. Absolutely. So Christian, let's talk about your parents, Christian. I mean, let's get in your business a little bit. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to continue our discussion also about the church. Is it right? The stigma. We're going to talk a little bit about that. Christian cares a lot about that, deeply about that, and is moving in her purpose in that direction. So she's going to share more with us. So stay tuned for that discussion as we continue to talk about it. But Christian, help us understand a little bit. Tell us a little bit about your parents and the current situation going on right now that I just think is beyond fascinating. Please share with the audience.
All right. So I am literally all things divorce, right? Twice divorced, adult child of divorce, right? Divorce lawyer for nearly 20 years. And both of my parents, who've been divorced since I was 7, live with me. My mom lives here and my dad lives here together. We're all raising my 3 children.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you've not seen the show Blackish on ABC, please check out Blackish. It's an amazing show. Touches on so many topics. It's hilarious and insightful. Okay, so check out Blackish on ABC. And if you don't know, on the show Blackish, the parents of Dre, the main character, are divorced, and they both live in the house with him and his wife and his children. And when Christian was telling me this, I'm like, your house is like Blackish. And she was like, exactly. Tell us what that's like. You told me you guys have breakfast together sometimes and coffee and the kids and grandpa. Listen, what is going on? Help us understand.
I'm like a little kid in a candy store, because I don't know if I'm the only one. I know I'm not the only one. Most kids of divorce secretly in their mind wanted their parents to be back together, right? Like, we wanted to be a family. We wanted that kind of oneness.
Right.
I know I was excited. Listen, like 2 years ago, it's 2 years ago. Yeah, I hosted Christmas at my house, and both my mommy and my daddy were here. And I was like, right? Because children of divorce, that's not how holidays work, right?
Okay, right.
You're with one parent or the other parent, but never both of them
right.
at the same time.
Right.
I was like,
you're like,
I
jackpot.
felt like a child. Like, yay. But no, the living situation in the house is pretty awesome. First person up makes the coffee, right? It's between my mom or the dad. We have coffee together. We eat meals together as a family. We sit down for breakfast. We sit down for dinner. What I think is super cute, like the thing that like really I think is so cute.
They don't. Wait. They're not in the same room, are they? They're not sleeping in the same bed, are they?
God, no.
Okay, good. I was gonna say
very own distinct kind of wings of the house.
I was gonna say that's not gonna be cute. That's not cute.
Right? Yeah, no.
Okay, go ahead. What's cute? What's cute? Help us understand.
Is that my dad's on dialysis, so he goes to dialysis 3 days a week, Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays. And so when he comes in, he's all what he calls dialysy. You know what I mean? Like he's kind of hungry and just run down. And my mother always makes sure that there's some food available for him to eat. Like if there's some leftovers from yesterday, because she knows he's not going to go in the refrigerator and look for anything. Wow. It's just the littlest thing, but always something kind of set out so when he comes in, he can just have some food. I know, isn't that sweet?
That is so sweet. That is. Fascinating. I see. And what I love about your story is you are in the divorce game. You're deep in. I mean, you're all the way in. You're seeing it from all angles. You have kids who are children of divorce. You are a child of divorce. Your divorced parents live together. Now, tell us a little bit. You decided to start a podcast, and you had some special guests. Tell us a little bit about that story.
Okay, so
tell us your show.
In living with both of my parents, right? I can't help but notice that they both think the other one's an asshole. Just as basic as that, right? My mom thinks my dad's an asshole. My dad thinks my mom's an asshole. I've been living with them, and really, they're both kind of assholes. Real talk. And they were the impetus for my podcast,
which is called
Parents.
I love it.
Asshole Parents,
right?
Right. So they're also really good sports. So there's right now only 4 episodes. Is me kind of introducing it, but one where I speak with my mother, one where I speak with my father, and one where I have the two of them in the room together for an interview. And let me tell you, it was very interesting,
right?
Because even though there's the 35 years, 36 years, I think that they've been divorced. My mother's been married once again. My father's been married twice again. There's a lot of space. A lot of space in between time. A lot of space. There were still some interesting things that came up in that conversation that it was like, oh, we're clearing that.
Oh, we're going to talk about that in front of everybody. That is so cool. Fascinating story. When you and I talked a few weeks ago, and we talked about you being on the show, and you shared that story with me, I fell out of my chair like twice, and then I got back up, and then I fell out again. I couldn't believe that you were living the Blackish experience and that your parents were living with you and all this was going on. Fascinating. It is cool. And I think people are saying in the comments, they're saying, like your parents, they know each other. So your mom is doing something kind for him because she still knows him and she knows what he needs and she knows he's, going through what he's going through. And there's a level of sweetness to that. And people are seeing the sweetness in that. So, all right. So let's go a little bit more into divorce and church. So first, tell us a little bit, because you've already shared a little bit. I mean, you've shown your hand a little bit that certainly you're not against divorce. Certainly you don't think people are going to hell for divorce. You've been divorced twice. Your parents are divorced. Divorce is something that's all around you. So clearly you don't think everybody's doomed because they get a divorce, right? But one, do you believe in the Bible? Are you a Christian? I mean, what's the deal with you? Are you some kind of atheist that doesn't really believe in the Bible, and so now you're coming on my show to try to confuse my audience about what thus saith the Lord? Help us understand.
I love it. No, Bible thumping, Bible reading, professed Christian since I was 5 years old. Beautiful story. I was really taught to read the Bible for myself, which I think is really the key foundation. I was also raised in a church where a lot of people you meet and you hear, they've been church hurt. Right. They went to church with people who said one thing and acted another way, or who judged and accused, and just a lot of harshness. It's not the kind of faith I grew up in. It was a small storefront church, more kids than adults. You know what I mean? Like all the kids in the neighborhood came. Right. Pastor, he couldn't pull any kind of paycheck from that job. So he had a full-time job, took care of his family, but still even had a Bible study in the middle of the week for 3 little girls. Wow. Like, he cared enough about us like that. His wife, this was this is what the 80s, and she would go out and minister to the prostitutes, and they would come to the church, and sometimes they're Sunday best, you know what I mean? But it wasn't a judgment. It wasn't that kind of place. Right. And so I think that's the kind of underlying message here is I don't come from that kind of legalistic background. It's a relationship. It's about you and God and in that communication. Yes. So, yes. Yeah, that's one thing. And then I would add, because I could talk about this all day. Hey. So I was a divorce lawyer for many years before I ever got divorced, right? Okay. And I was very judgmental about it.
Speak out. Wait a minute. Hold on.
I am a Christian.
So wait, whoa. You were married, never been divorced, divorce attorney, judging those that you were working with, people who were paying you to do a job because of your own faith. I think that says a lot about the stigma behind divorce. So continue with that story.
Right? No, that's real talk, right? Because I practiced law for a few years even before I got married, really, right? So here I am, just a young woman. And my thought was, well, of course, these women at Legal Aid are getting divorces, right? Because they're married to these abusive men. Well, they should have picked better.
Wow.
Right? So that's judgment. You know what I
Yep.
mean? Like, I always judge my parents for getting divorced. And my mother should have stuck it out longer with my dad. Like I felt like she gave up. Like there was just a judgment thing. If the people wanted to stay married, if they just did better.
Wow.
Right, then they wouldn't be in this divorce position. But since they find themselves here, I will help them. I will have compassion for them.
Mm-hmm.
Right, but
Yes.
there was still a judgment to it.
Yes.
And that will, of course, it proceeded that way until my first husband, where this is a marriage where I really felt like I was doing everything right. You know what I mean? Like,
right. You was in the game. You was killing it.
I was doing that. You know what I'm saying? This marriage is going to last forever.
Right.
Until he says to me, right, shortly before our third anniversary, I don't want to be married to you anymore. I don't love you the way a husband should love a wife.
Wow.
Yeah.
Quite shocking words. What? And let me tell you the comments that we're getting. People are amazed by your testimony. They're loving your transparency. So thank you so much for being so open with us. So first of all, fascinating that you were working with people. There's somebody out there working with abused women. There's somebody out there working with drug addicts. There's somebody out there working with people who have any other level of issue. And deep down, sometimes even the faith that we have in God causes us to sit in the seat of God. Somehow we get this whole Bible and Christianity or whatever belief you have. Somehow, somewhere along the road, we turn it from we all fall short of the glory. We all need the grace of God. None of us are perfect. All of us are a mess. Somehow we get from that to, well, I don't have your issue. And since I don't have your issue, somehow I get to sit on the seat of judgment and look down at you in some way or judge you in some way. And I love how you called it out, because it wasn't that you were sitting there with a gavel, literally placing judgment, but you were basically saying, my feelings, as you now reflect back on them, were judgmental of those people that somehow they did something to put themselves in a bad position to need a divorce. And here you are coming to save these poor souls who happen to put themselves in a bad situation. But now you're reflecting back and saying that wasn't right at all. That is powerful, powerful stuff. So
That's
thank you so much.
It took for that to happen. And those are hard words to hear.
Yeah.
So hard to hear, actually, that when he said them, I said, well, thanks for sharing.
Yeah.
And so now that I understand that's the way you're feeling, so what are we going to do about
it? Okay, say it one more time for us. Again, your husband said what? And I quote,
I don't want to be married to you anymore. I don't love you the way a husband should love a wife.
Man, whatever that means. Wow. Okay. So after that, the shock, you hear that. Is it what goes on? Is it quickly to divorce? You guys continue on for another month, years? What happens?
Oh no, because I didn't want a divorce, right? I felt like that's why, I thanked him for sharing. Like I was like, okay, so now what are we gonna do?
Yeah.
Right. This isn't we're not gonna get a divorce.
Right.
Not me. Right. Not me. Let's just work out. Right. So we went back and forth. It was a very interesting thing until finally I did get angry enough with him, because it was like the 4th of July. So it was like about a month. We're living in this weird kind of awkward space, where now the truth has come out. And he then says, oh, I was offered this position in Illinois. He traveled for work, so if you'd understand that. And so the job was based in Illinois. I can go to Illinois for, 6 months. Why don't we do this? Like it was going to be a trial separation. And biblically, separation is not divorce. I always like to put that out there. Separation is not divorce.
Yeah.
And plenty of couples separate and reconcile. The separation is actually the thing that the marriage needed.
Interesting.
So, okay, we'll separate for the 6 months. It was after he was gone for 6 months and we didn't have any communication that I was like, wait a minute, I don't think he's coming back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So he went away and didn't come back.
No.
Wow.
He went away and didn't come back.
Wow.
Yeah. Ultimately, learned, because this is a part of my story I'm transparent about. He actually left me for his boyfriend. So he had actually been gay throughout the entire.
Hold on,
marriage.
Ladies and gentlemen. Share the broadcast with your family and friends. It's about to get juicy in here. We're about to get to some real dirt. Y'all thought y'all heard something before. She just slid something in there real quick that we're going to rewind back and make sure she helps us understand. Because this is the fascinating part is this isn't as uncommon as people think, but it's important that we bring it to light. He left, rewind real quick. Tell us again, what did you say? He left you for what?
Mm-hmm. So he left me for his boyfriend. And so that you good Christian people can really appreciate this, It was a boy that he knew from his fraternity that went to my church and sang in the choir. So he left me, to be with someone from the choir at my church.
Ladies and gentlemen, Lucas Live has just gotten liver than ever before. This is quite a topic. First of all, I cannot say, and ladies and gentlemen, we're about 10 minutes to the hour. We may end at 8. We may go a little over. If you're busy, I don't know what to tell you, but this is just too good. Too much good stuff. The comments are just amazing. You guys, I love the comments. Thank you guys for all your comments. Mouths open, shocked faces, dropping mics. They're like, and even the trauma of it, they're like, that's traumatic. People are asking, how did you go through that without snapping? Even hearing the words that he shared.
Oh, I did snap, but we don't want to talk about it.
Oh, well, we do. He's still okay. You ain't in prison or nothing because you was an attorney, right. So whatever. Man. So I've never had so many. The comments are just flying and flying and flying. People are like blown away. That is powerful. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let me say this as well to the issue of homosexuality, which is another topic that we will definitely tackle here on Lucas Live. It's another one of those things, right? Homosexuality is another one of those heaven or hell things where we're like, you get a divorce, are you going to hell? You're homosexual, are you going to hell? These are things we're going to have to parse out. And we really got to start dealing with this stuff because there's a lot of stuff going on in society and we got to be careful because we end up sitting on a seat of judgment. Now, the fact that he left her for a man or a woman is equally hurtful. It's terrible that he left her alone and just walked out on her. But the fact that it's a man makes it even more shocking. But to God, is it all just as bad? Is he just upset that the marriage is over? Is he more mad at this guy because he's with a man? I don't know. But what I do know is through all of this and through everything we're talking about, whether it's somebody going through a divorce, somebody dealing with homosexuality, somebody dealing with something else, we better be careful and make sure that we don't allow our feelings, our pain, or our past to stop us from being loving toward individuals, whatever their situation is. If they're homosexual, if they're divorced, if they're twice divorced, if they're whatever their situation is, we better make sure that because what we have to answer for is how we love and how we treat other people. So, Christian, amazing, amazing story. Please. I don't know if you know where you left off, but we are into this book. So we're leaning in.
I realized
keep telling your story. We're enjoying.
It didn't matter how much I didn't want to be divorced.
Yes.
It didn't matter how good a wife I thought I was.
Yeah.
None of those things mattered. There was nothing in my power that could stop that marriage from ending.
Yeah.
And that was when I finally stopped being judgmental about divorce.
Wow. Ain't that like God, right?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
But yeah, it took that. It took for that to happen to kind of, I called it shattering into reality. Because the real question is, how did I manage to be in a relationship with a man that long? We were in a relationship for a decade.
Wow.
I didn't know.
You never knew. This is just, people want to know because somebody in a relationship right now and they looking at they dude right now. They like, they sitting on the couch like, I don't know. So you just didn't know? What? You didn't know?
No, I tell it like this. You can not know what you don't want to know. You can not know what you don't want to know. Okay. And I hate to liken it to, but you hear about this with the women and they have a man in the house that's molesting their child.
Yes.
And everybody keeps saying, you must have knew,
yes.
You must have knew. And she keeps saying, I didn't know.
Yeah. That's deep.
You cannot know what you don't want to know. You cannot know.
Wow.
And so now, don't get me wrong. In hindsight, looking back, you know what I mean? It's 2020. You know, like I told this story in my TED Talk.
Uh-huh.
So he traveled for work. I mentioned this, right? Like he traveled for work.
Uh-huh.
And so like he would come home from work. I'd be all ready. We didn't have no kids. You know what I'm saying? I had dinner ready. I have on some lingerie, like, have me for dessert.
Uh-huh.
And he really want to have dessert. He really want to eat ice cream and watch Project Runway. Like
that was normal. Yeah. That was his everyday.
Right.
Yeah. So Lori Ballard, thank you for being here. And her husband have a church. And she said, were there any red flags? So there were some red flags in hindsight. It wasn't in the moment. You weren't like, wait a minute. But looking back, there were he was passing on sex and other things that wasn't really, didn't seem normal now looking back. Is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Wow.
Now, the sad part of the story, and I haven't shared this one out loud in a while, but hey, I'm here on Lucas Tyndall Live.
This is what we do. Let's go.
Here it goes. I'm gonna tell you this right now. I mean this, and I don't want y'all standing out there in judgment to me.
Right.
Hear what I tell you.
Okay.
Okay. His name was Anthony, and I met him when I was 19, and we dated until I was 27 when we finally got married. Right, shortly before my 30th birthday, a little after my 30th birthday. Right, when he decided he needed a divorce. We were really close friends. We were really good friends, and I didn't want to be divorced so much that, being who I was at that time, if he had told me that he liked men, I would have found a way to work it into the marriage. Anything to not be divorced. And that's why I know the fear of being divorced and the stigma on divorce in itself is a cancer, because I would have chosen to do that to myself. And there's a small part of you that would be dying on the inside to be choosing to live that way. But I didn't want to be divorced.
Powerful. Christian, I can't thank you enough. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you guys stay tuned here. We're going to go a little over the hour, so I'm sorry, but this is so good. I am honored, Christian, that you're sharing so openly on my show. I want to bring education, motivation, liberation on this show each night. People are learning things about whether it's the law or the truth or whatever it is. People are being motivated to really start looking at some things in their life. And I know some people are being set free because you're so transparent. The truth will set us free. And you're giving us so much truth. We can feel it through the screen. It is so powerful. Like, to go through what you went through and to still be standing here and still be strong. We're going to need a little more time because there's more to your story. And I just want to hear a little bit more of your journey. And this is just amazing and powerful. And I'm going to be there to push you to keep doing your podcast and keep putting out blogs or information, something, and keep coaching and helping people, because people need you. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys have to connect with Christian. You guys reach out to me if you're connected to me and can't find her on social media. We're going to get you connected. If you think she could help you, she wants to make this her life's work, helping people who are going through these situations, and not just be their attorney. She's moving away from that to wanting to coach and support and help people. So powerful. So, Christian, really, I mean, to go through what you went through and to still be standing here strong. When you look back, were there moments, I mean, when you say that you would have allowed it, let's go there for a second. You believe that you would have allowed your bisexual, maybe solely homosexual husband to do what he needed to do to try to make sure you didn't get a divorce, because being raised in the church, there's such a stigma on divorce that you would have rather figured that out, even though that would have been wrong too. But you could have hid that. You can't hide a divorce. But because of the stigma, you would have tried to make it work. Say that again. Is that true?
That's the truth. That's the truth. Wow. Just not wanting to be divorced.
Wow. That is so heavy. That is so profound. Tell us a little bit. I want you to talk a little bit about what you're doing now and your business and what's it shaping into, and what can people expect from you?
Gotcha. Oh my God. So it's really like a kind of ever evolving, growing thing.
Okay.
But there are a couple of things that I'm really passionate about. And one of those is co-parenting. And so you can be looking out for workshops. I have this workshop, Co-Parenting Tools to Make It Work, which I'm finding a way to make virtual. Right. And anybody who has never been married, or you're currently not married and you have children together, there's all kind of message in there. So to be looking out for that.
Yes.
Also looking to just kind of create some basic info products for the people, like some checklists, like how do you prepare for divorce? Should I be getting a divorce right now? Like, what are the steps to follow? How can I make this not cost me $50,000? You know what I mean? Like, answers, right? All the divorce questions you might have. And so Divorce Answer, there you go, is how you can follow me on all the social media.
Divorce Answer.
Divorce Answer.
Okay.
And working out eventually there'll probably be some kind of small coaching, group coaching kind of thing, because the emotions involved in this kind of thing sometimes work better. You need a buddy, you need a small group. So there's a lot to be looking forward to, more episodes of Asshole Parents. Right now I'm just kind of recovering from having had that law practice. I am in recovery. That's
not an easy job. I mean, for anybody trying to get into it, it's kind of heavy.
Right.
It's a lot. Yes.
Yes. But yeah, you can just be paying attention to that. Look for the videos. My YouTube channel is Christian Family Esquire, just ESQ, Christian Family ESQ.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but just be paying attention to the content. And please, 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 if you know people who need help, they're in difficult marriages, stuff like that, send them my way.
Yeah.
Let me talk to them.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I do want to ask before we go. Generally, our general topic was, about the stigma of divorce, and help us with your view, just your thoughts. What are your thoughts? I mean, from what the Bible says.
That's what you want to know. Oh, okay, here, I'll tell you this. Two
Yeah.
things. Like I said, divorce is a result.
Okay.
You should know that.
Mm-hmm.
It's a result. It's an effect of all the things that led up to it.
Mm-hmm.
The things that God hates is not the divorce itself. It's not people who are divorced, but it's all the pain and heartache that leads up to divorce.
Wow.
He doesn't like that. You know what I mean? God loves us. He doesn't want to see people hurt like that. By the time people find themselves in a posture where they need a divorce, they are hurt.
Wow.
They're hurt. There was a lot of pain involved there, and God doesn't want that. He doesn't love that, right? So that's the thing. And the most important thing is that divorce is an opportunity. It's really an opportunity to do something new. It's an opportunity to have something that you could not have inside of that marriage. My story specifically, right, and I talk about it in the TED Talk. In my first marriage, I would have never had a family, and I really wanted a family.
Interesting. Because
so he wasn't doing it with me.
Literally.
He didn't want kids. Like he was, it would have never happened. It would have never happened. He'd have put it off forever.
Okay.
Right. But the divorce itself gave me the opportunity to have a family, which is something I really wanted.
Right.
And I had this family with the second guy. But inside of this marriage, I couldn't be my true and authentic self. Like I was always trying to have to play myself small and just these kind of things to try to make that marriage work. And so the divorce brought for itself an opportunity to really step into my dream, to authentically be me, to make my message, that kind of thing, to be able to step out in this mission. Because what don't I know that's divorced now, right? I mean, he was gay. One of them was beating on me. Listen.
You can help anybody, right? You've been there.
I can help anybody, okay?
Wow.
I'm not going to judge you.
Yes.
It's your situation, right? Okay.
Yes. You've heard it all. I've been through it. Absolutely. Wow, that is such a great place to be. I too, for those viewers out there who don't know, my wife and I help couples, and I wrote a book called The Man Manual: 10 Steps to Better Understanding Your Man. And I am all about healthy relationships. My deepest passion is helping people have happy, healthy marriages. I have always been the relationship guy. If you knew me when I was 12, I was the dude in middle school and high school that knew what was going on with everybody and was sorting through people's relationship problems. And that was always me. And at 18, I met a wonderful young lady, and she had this beautiful little girl who lit up the room. And my parents, my father had come home from prison, and my parents' relationship wasn't what I wanted it to be. So I was scared that my parents were going to get a divorce. And I was the only one still living in the house because I was just 18. I was working. I was, maybe going to the local college or something. And I was so afraid until I attached myself to this woman and this family. And I became a father to this young lady who's still my Ariana today. I love her with all I have. And her mom, and we started building a family. And because I was in church, I had to marry this girl. I couldn't, they used to call it shacking up. I couldn't just be staying now because I remember the first night I stayed the night at her house. It was snowing, and I called my mom. Meanwhile, now granted I'm 18, but my mom wasn't playing, and I was like, "Mom, it's snowing real bad. I'm gonna have to stay over here." And she was like, "All right, son, it's cool." And my mom wasn't really church strict, but she was just like decent. She just thought some things were just like decent or not decent, appropriate or inappropriate. So she was like, "Cool." I was like, "My mom is cool with this." So then another night, and I probably went home a couple nights in between, and another night I stayed, and I found myself waking up at this lady's house to go to church. And I'm like, this is dirty. I can't be sleeping at your house and waking up and we go to the same church and we go into church together. This ain't right. So then we fast forward into a marriage, getting married. It was a month after my 20th birthday. I was standing there saying I do. I'm running around getting tuxedo. I just had a tux on for prom. What am I doing putting on a tux for a marriage? My head is spinning. I was too young. I wasn't ready. She wasn't ready. I mean, the marriage was so hard. It was just difficult. Not that she's a horrible person. Not that I'm a horrible person. It was just difficult. We had children together, and then we too were divorced. And it was the most painful thing. I literally cried before I went to court every time. Like literally, like I remember hugging my dad. Like I didn't want to do it. I didn't know how to deal with the pain of it. I didn't think I wanted to stay married to her. But the pain of a divorce is real. And you broke that down. Nobody really wants to do it. I remember meeting with an attorney. My stomach is in knots. I'm embarrassed. I feel crazy. I'm the relationship guy. I was in ministry. It was such a painful experience. I wouldn't wish that on anybody, which is why I'm so adamant about helping singles get mentally, spiritually, emotionally fit for a relationship, and helping couples come together and be united and be selfless and learn what it takes. It's not going to be easy. It is going to be hard. It is going to be challenging. Every day is not Skittles and rainbows, but I want to see people make it in their marriage. And years after my divorce, a year or two after I met my wife now. We've been married for 11 years. We've built a beautiful marriage. Do me and my wife now have problems? Yes. Do we argue sometimes? Yes, because sometimes she's wrong. And so every now and then sometimes I'm wrong. Sometimes she's wrong. Sometimes things go wrong. But we are committed. One thing shout out to my wife, Corinne. We said we are not getting a divorce. It is not an option. So if you better not say the D word in this house. The fact that I'm saying it right now on this show is as much as it's ever been said in this house. We don't talk about it. It's not on the table. It's not an option. And we're willing to do the work that it takes to make it work. We're not going to abuse each other. We're not going to hurt each other. And because we're both willing to gel together, as you talked about earlier, we've been able to make it work. I was ashamed of myself for so many years. I'm over it. I'm over the guilt. I'm over the shame. Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the first time you've heard that story from me. I want you to know that about me. You may have thought I was the perfect relationship guy who knew everything about relationships and wrote this book. I wrote the book from pain. I wrote the book because I didn't want other people to experience what I experienced. I want women to understand men better. I want men to understand women better. And my wife and I have another great book that we're going to be talking about really soon to help more people. Christian, you just opened it all up today. I mean, I just can't even... I owe you something. I don't know what it is yet, but I want to support you in everything that you're doing. You were incredible. Your story was incredible, Christian. Thank you. Thank you so much. If you could give some parting words to our audience today, what would you tell them?
The parting words are this. God wants you to have a happy, healthy, thriving marriage. He wants you to be in a relationship with him. If you're in a marriage that's killing you, that's pulling you away from God, that's stopping you from being your best self, God is not going to make marriage an idol greater than him.
Wow.
Your relationship with God is the most important thing. And a good, healthy, growing marriage is going to put you closer to God.
Yes.
Statistics are 1 in 2 marriages fail. What that means is 1 in 2 marriages stands the test of time.
Amen.
That's what that means. Marriage does work if you work it.
Yes. Thank you so much, Christian. Ladies and gentlemen, give her some applause in the comments. Make sure you guys connect with her. If you want to get a hold of her, you can connect through me. We're going to continue to support the work that you're doing, Christian. I'm going to have you back on the show. We're going to just have to do an all-out Q&A session, maybe a Lucas Live After Dark. We'll do a Q&A and we'll just get some people in. Maybe we'll do a panel. We're going to do some things because these are such important topics. Everybody in the comments is just, people are saying this is the best show yet. People are putting more hand claps in the comments than I can keep up with. Fire in the comments. Amen. You really, really, really blessed us. We thank you so much for what you shared with us today, Christian. To our audience here today on Lucas Live, you guys are the livest audience. You engage in this show. You participate in this show. Please share this broadcast beyond this moment. Please go watch it. It's going to upload to YouTube. It'll be there tomorrow. Share the YouTube link. Watch it on YouTube. Support the YouTube page. Subscribe. Join the inner circle. Your support is what keeps me doing this every day. If it wasn't for all your love and everybody continuing to pour out and telling me how much it's helping them, I would have turned this camera off weeks ago. I started this thing for my mom. I wanted to do something for her, and I got out here and I started doing it. And some days it's not easy. Some days I feel like you feel. I'm tired. It's the evening. I want to spend time with my family. I have pressure and stress and other things going on in my life, but I do this because you guys show up for these shows, and so I'm going to keep bringing them for you if you guys keep showing up for them. Thank you for your love and support. Thank you again, Christian, for everything you shared with us today. Ladies and gentlemen, you guys enjoy your night. I know you're not going to be able to go to sleep. You're going to be talking about this all night. Keep talking about it. Keep sharing it. Keep posting it. And keep this conversation alive, because this conversation just might save somebody's life. Everybody have a great night.